mental troubles, I think it's an easy way we can describe that if you don't have physical problems, illness and so forth, right? You are not hungry, you are not thirsty, you are not cold, but still something problems. That is mental. You are physically, it's okay, everything what you need is okay right now. But still something missing and troubles, that is mental trouble. And these mental troubles we can dissolve through meditation, through the practice, to realize nature of phenomena. That nature of phenomena with relative truth and absolute truth and so forth. That's the Dharma terms we're describing, So, in this way, we have to know better self. Some phenomena we are not agreed immediately those Dharma teachings, because this is so far from right now and our regular concept. Because those teachings comes from deep realizations, deep wisdom, we say, subtle mind, that discovered further and then just normal our perceptions, perceived phenomena. And so that they're saying that we are come from the space phenomena. There is no self. And but they're a little bit pretty much Big Bang, right? Some Dharma teachings, pretty much, I think, very close. If I labored a little bit, then say same thing. And so, just general, I can use terms, emptiness. There is nothing beginner. But something happened, and then we appears in this world. So then we grasp self, and based on that, lots of things happening. To remove completely, now I'm talking about completely stop the suffering. Then we have to realize sublessness and emptiness. That's the terms describing nature of reality. Another way of, you can say, absolute truth. When we use emptiness and the sublessness, and that's used describing the nature of reality. And that way, we are come from the space, right? There's no holding on in self. We have to go back some sort of to realize it. That's it. Not necessarily disappear completely right now, but to understand and be with it. That way we can remove these troubles. And I think it really helps a lot, helps for reduce stress, mental disturbing emotions, mental troubles. We can resolve that way. So then, how to do it? We have lots of methods. You can see hundreds methods to dissolve that. And basically, we have to know, to understand. This wishing to know sublessness, emptiness, no, we can't. Even if you think, oh, this is emptiness, but it doesn't mean we understand emptiness. We just repeat and label. The first, we have to investigate it. What does mean emptiness? What does mean that words for me, sublessness? Of course we have self. That's why we are sitting here and talking and so forth. All lots of things happening, and I have sufferings. That's not denying here. That we have that self, interdependent self. That self is this collection of five skandhas. Form, the body. Then we have feeling. We feel any cold, hot, and sad, so forth. And then perceptions, seeing things. Oh, this is good, this is bad, big, small, yellow. And the formations, belief systems, love and compassion, and so forth. Hundreds. And then consciousness. Consciousness basically, there are two types. We have non-conceptual mind and conceptual mind. Non-conceptual mind is like I consciousness. From Dharma teachings saying, this is a kind of logic relates to the Dharma. That when we perceive, like object, a book, we're not directly seeing it. We never ever see it directly, object. But we saw kind of reflection of this object. That's why when we see the reflection of this object, that means we're seeing the object. Ego to see the object. And how then we're seeing this? That we have to have connections, right? This is interdependence, interconnections. If we don't have connection, then how we can see it? Of course, the condition is a light and so forth. Their object is there. Needed the light, and also the cost of their consciousness and eye faculties. Their previous consciousness is a little bit complicated, right? Okay. So sometimes, why is he talking about it? No, they just ignore that. It doesn't matter. It's there. Just we see it. But interesting. Just interesting. That a previous consciousness. The consciousness we have some stream. Then eye faculties. Eye faculties, the consciousness together. Eye faculties itself can't see it, this object. Eye faculties with consciousness, then consciousness reflecting the object. This reflecting is mind, we say. That's why the mind is seeing with mind. They have connection. Then we said, did we see this? Yes, we said commonly we see the book. But if you really detail and look at, we never ever see it directly, this object. It's always behind there something. Just a reflection, perceived reflection. So that is our mind, ear consciousness, so forth. That is a non-conceptual mind. Conceptual mind, oh, this is a book, white book, and so forth. That is a conceptual. It's a I am. Think about it. Then this is a conceptual mind. And here, when we investigating in self, it's not small subject. Self is described many ways. I think if you ask individual, what does it mean self for you? They describe it different. Almost every person has a different, descriptions of self. That means it's complicated. One way it's easy, of course, it's me, it's self, myself. But then, what are you talking about? It's a body. Usually we are not looking at detailed form, feeling, perception, formation, consciousness, so forth. We are not looking that way. Our mind is just all at one. That is saying Dharma teachings, permanent view, the single view. It's not right. You are not single. If you call self just only single, and also we have to know that Dharma is not denying, right? Common we are single, one person. But we are moving further. Then the self, we are not calling self for the body. It's our body, mind. If you investigate any part of identification of self, then some sort of losing our belief systems or that hold of self something. It's losing because it's not based on the reality. Just sometimes try, think about it. The Dharma teachings we always based on the reasonings. If you don't have the good reason, it's not necessary follow. That's Buddha's always, as one very famous quote is that the scholars, my followers, as what I say is Dharma teachings, you have to investigate it, examine it over and over again. It's like gold. You have to cut it in the fire and so forth, then it's pure, right? The similar, his teachings, we have to investigate it, examine it over and over again. If you find certainty it's true, then follow. I think that is a good advice. It's a good advice way of discovering self. And so, look at that way, then it's very hard to find really self, permanent self, singular. That's always the same. Carefully thinking about that, where I'm called self. My head, no. Legs, no. Then go to the inward. What about the permanent something inside? It's very hard to find. But still we are holding. Why we are holding that? If you look at every part of the body, mind, there is no permanent self, but still holding. That is ego clinging. Ego clinging. That is the foundation of all troubles. We have to breaking these habitual patterns. Just still holding, right? Then envy is rising, jealous is rising, anger is rising, and anxious, self-dislike, like, dislike, this all hope and fear based on this ego clinging. When we hold it, this mind is just very narrow-minded. Dharma teaching is saying that we have to break down. That doesn't mean you disappeared. Your better self. Self is enjoy, not narrow-minded. It's like open-minded. It's less stress, disturbing emotions. Enjoy it yourself. Within there, it's not denying, cause and fate, interdependence. We have precious human birth, and to rejoice in life, to discover one's own nature. We have great opportunities, so forth. Then just enjoys rising. Be with it there, then, lots of mental disturbing emotions dissolve. So that way we can dissolve large troubles. And later, I think, very comfortable yourself. If you sit or whatever you do, become very comfortable. You appreciate yourself. And much happier. So I think that's pretty much kind of basic, idea how Dharma helps for self. And really, we have to look at what's going on in our mind, how we are holding on, and then a lot of troubles in our mind that we have to figure out, investigate, examine it. That's just a way of we can dissolve lots of troubles. We know that it's not simple. Even for me, I have been large study and meditate and practice. Still, sometimes it's very difficult. It takes time. Or we don't have magic. Gone everything. It's just when you see these ideas, it's then you have to investigate it, examine it yourself. Some dharmic path, has Dharma path. This path is lead to you into the reality. But then it works. And life is enjoy. And when obstacles arising in our life, we can dissolve very quickly, not always holding on. Troubles always with us. Sometimes relate to the self, sometimes relate to the friends, sometimes relate to the families. There's a lot of troubles occur in our life. That we can't stop everything. That's just we are living this complex world. But when they come to us, we can stop, caring all the time, unnecessary. That's his way of we can stop the suffering.